So, after a very strange logo reveal, and then an even stranger PlayStation 5 deep dive where Mark Cerny wanted to collect my ears, we're finally getting a real glimpse for most gamers out there into the next generation of PlayStation with the new unveiling of the DualSense Controller. That's going to get some getting used to. With that, this is just an impressions. This is again breaking news I just got from the PlayStation blog. We're going to run you down into what they wanted you to hear in the blog post, what my thoughts are afterwards. So with that, let's take a look at this controller, my thoughts walking in, and all the doodads walking out. Let's get right into it. So, first and foremost, this controller looks like a huge deviation from what we've seen PlayStation do in the past. Look, PlayStation doesn't like change. You could look at the PlayStation 1 all the way to the PlayStation 4 controller, and we've seen a slight evolution over time, but nothing as drastic as we've seen with the DualSense controller. The only thing that could kind of top this is just the boomerang controller that never was. That prototype we saw from the PlayStation 3 that was thrown out right before production. With that said though, we gotta look at this controller and walking in, it looks something weird. It looks something out of, oddly enough, like Killzone or Halo made a baby, and that's what this controller was. And right off the gate, I'm down on this. I like it a lot. I like when PlayStation gets weird. I love when companies get weird and they do something different, and this is something different. So with that, let's talk about some of the quotes that I got here from the PlayStation blog. And it starts with the first quote and the first bullet point being haptic feedback. This is something we've heard before. Actually, last year they talked about haptic feedback, and they kind of go into detail a bit about it even more here, and it states the following. The adoption of haptic feedback, which adds a variety of power sensations you'll feel when you play, such as the slow grittiness of driving a car through mud. We also incorporated adaptive triggers into the L2 and R2 buttons of the DualShock so you can truly feel the tension of your actions, like drawing a bow to shoot an arrow. Okay, cool. This is something that they've been beating the drum on a lot. They really want us to know that, hey, listen, every generation you see, the graphics improve, right? Visual. Every generation you see a little bit of the sound changing, right? This generation towards the end, it was big on headphones, headsets. Now with Tempest sound, they really want us to hear the whole surround sound, the surroundings of your area. And now they even want to go a little bit further into feeling. We've gotten feeling, we got rumble, but it kind of stopped there. What they want is different sensations on the controller. This is something we're going to have to feel to believe, but right off the bat, I think this gives credence to how this controller is kind of laid out, with how the black is kind of, I think, for the grip, and I think the white there is for the haptic feedback sensations. But cool, that's awesome, that's something we already know. Let's get into the next bit of the blog here. And our second bullet point is the battery and USB-C functionality of the controller. And they state the following. We also took a thoughtful consideration into the ways to maintain strong battery life for DualSense's rechargeable battery and lessen the weight of the controller as much as possible as new features were added. Cool. So what does that mean? Take out all the bullshit PR speak. What's there in just plain flat out English? Well, I think they're trying to balance two messagings here. As PlayStation fans, as people that, own the controller and whatnot, how could we be nice about the DualShock 4's battery life by just saying it's fucking atrocious. It's bad. It's not good. It runs out of battery way too goddamn fast. There's a lot of problems with that controller in terms of battery life, and they understand that. And I think what they're trying to get at here is, hey, it's going to have better battery life than the DualShock 4, and we understand we're putting a lot more technology in, so we added USB-C functionality so that even if, let's just say it's the same type of battery life, which is not good, USB-C charges things insanely fast. Not only is it more appealing to look at and you can, plug it into any which way you want, USB-C charges things faster, which means you're going to get a faster charge out of your controller so you could spend time, gaming wirelessly more than just 15 minutes on a DualShock 4. I'm exaggerating. Sony ponies, settle down. So with that, Cool news, let's get into the next bullet point. No longer do we have a share button. Nay, they've gotten rid of it, and this is what they had to say straight from the blog. For buttons, you'll notice there is no longer a share button we had with the DualShock 4. Don't worry, it's not going away. In fact, we've built upon the success of the industry first share button to bring you a new create button feature. With create, we're once again pioneering the ways for players to create epic gameplay content to share to the world or just enjoy by themselves. We'll have some details on this feature as we get closer to launch. Listen, I'm not the best at all these quotes. I got dyslexia. I'm trying. With that, what does this mean? First and foremost, share button's my favorite button on the DualShock 4. I like how they're owning it by going, hey, listen, gang, whoa. Share button's cute. We did it first. And you know what? We do it best. And they're adding this new layer, which is create. What this means entirely, we don't know. We're going to have to wait for a bigger teardown of what that means. But listen, I really like the suite that was on the PlayStation 4 in terms of creation. If you're not the biggest, Photoshop fan, or you're just new to the whole creation business, this is actually a great way to start. And to see that they're doubling down on creation is awesome, because more creative content means more things posted on social media, which means more PlayStation content on social media, which means more PlayStation free advertising, and they dig that a lot. So right off the bat, this is awesome. I just hope it's not a cluttered feature. I want it easy and simple. I just want to tap the share button and I have the ability to just take a screenshot or to record a video or stream, and then just give me the create button on the bottom there. That's all I really want. Just add another button. Just don't make it convoluted. You got something so perfect is what I'm saying. Don't need to ruin it. All right. With that, let's get into the next bit. I don't know why I added a pregnant pause there, but whatever. It makes sense to me. And this is the microphone. I'm not going to add any type of quotes or anything like that to this. This is just pretty simple. They added a microphone into the DualShock controller. Now, there was a patent about a year ago that suggested that they were going to have a PlayStation Assist button, similar to Google Assistant on the Google Stadia. Insert joke below. And yeah, this is not for that. Apparently, the microphone so far, as of what we know, is solely to communicate with other people. As we saw at the end of this generation, it was all about headphones and surround sound, right? And they're doubling down on that for sure. But the one thing that they want to do is make this accessible for everyone. Not everybody has an epic pair of headsets. Not everybody has a microphone laying around. And nobody wants to use the shitty little mic that comes with the PlayStation 4. Nobody wants that life. So it's just giving the ability for people to communicate, to play together, to have more fun, and that's cool. And it's also cost effective so that they don't have to ship that shitty little mic. But this is really cool for like kids who break shit all the time. I think this is a really cool feature that's going to get overlooked, so there you go. And last but not leastly, let's talk about the light bar, and this is a quote out of the PlayStation blog that states the following: additionally, we changed the position of the light bar that will give an extra pop. On DualShock 4, it sat at the top of the controller. Now, it sits at each side of the touchpad, giving it a slightly larger look and feel. So that's why this controller may seem a little larger. They actually talked about it in the blog. They kind of made things a little bit smaller so that more hands, more shapes of hands could play it comfortably. And what this two-tone system gives the look of is a more futuristic, a more clean aesthetic, and it looks pretty cool. Now, here's my question here. Now, PSVR is backwards compatible or forwards compatible, whatever we're talking about, on the PlayStation 5. Since the light bars are so skinny, how's the old camera going to look and track the camera on PSVR games? It's interesting. I like that they're taking this approach because the light bar that of old was annoying. Even if you tried to dim it, it just shined a light on any time you were in a dark space in a video game, and it was really fucking annoying. So I really do hope that at the end of the day, we can clear the light or just turn it off on the DualSense controller. But other than that, I do like the dual tone look. I love the lights of this console. And at the end of the day, the thing that does excite me the most has to be the create button, because I want to see what they do more for people who are interested in content creation. Making that easier for people gives people, the incentive to create more, and I think that's always a great thing. And also, yes, I'll say it, the microphone. It does excite me that more people get to talk to their friends when they're playing Fortnite or calling my mama ho. So, with that, my thoughts at the end of the day, after reading everything, after seeing what is the DualSense controller, what are my final thoughts? I love that PlayStation's getting weird again. This is cool. This is different. This is the same reason why I love the Series X console. The Series X looks different. It's no longer just a plain flat rectangle. It's now a large tower of power, and that is something I could get behind. I love how it glows green at the top. I think that's super cool, and I think this controller lends itself to what we can expect from the next PlayStation, which is a dual-toned console with probably 2 lights as well. And what I would really like to see, there's actually a mock-up, and if I find it, I'll throw it on the video here. I would like to see the same thing from PlayStation. I want to see a tower of power as well. There was an awesome mock-up of a 5-sided box that this person made for the PlayStation 5, and it looked cool. I want PlayStation to do something weird, to do something fun, to do something different, and I think the PlayStation 5 controller lends itself to what we can expect from the next generation of PlayStation. So far, so good. I'm on board. I want to know what y'all thinking. Why did I say y'all? I want to know what y'all are thinking down below. Like, share, subscribe. Please. It helps me out, grows this big, beautiful family that I call home. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, listen, I'm excited for the next generation of consoles. As you guys can't tell, I'm excited for the next Xbox. I'm excited for the PlayStation. I'm excited for the future of video games as we move forward. So with all that said, I want to know what your favorite feature is down below. And yeah, with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody keep your wits about you and have a nice one.